What were weird myths you thought about sex as a kid? A girl told me masturbation could give me cancer. Before I actually experienced sex, I thought you'd have to put the condom on your shaft and balls. That I could get some when I'm older. When I was a freshman in high school, an older male friend told me a man's penis could burst if he didn't empty out his sperm often enough and got too backed up. When guys get hard-ons, it was because it filled with sperm, and if a guy couldn't get hard it meant he had no sperm. Masturbation will make you go blind. My 4/5 grade teacher, who was 80 years old. I thought the condoms were like the black sensor bars on TV and wondered how a guy could fuck with that on. I heard the word lesbian for the first time at camp when I was 8. And when I asked what it meant, I was told that it was a girl who sleeps in a bed with other girls. I took that to heart and understood the word as a negative. So I was pretty uncomfortable with sharing beds at sleepovers for a while. Also, when she was little, someone I went to high school with believed that a woman became pregnant when a married couple put forth a formal wish to God for a baby. After a long time of begging her parents to give her a new sibling, they gave her the good news. She didn't believe them, and made them wish out loud in front of her for a baby. Her mom had twins and she thought it was her fault for making them wish a second time. I thought I was dying during my first orgasm because the church tells you you're not supposed to touch yourself. I even started crying. But I didn't tell anyone, lol. After a bit I realized what it really meant, but I used to think a lesbian was someone from Lebanon. I thought eating a watermelon seed would get me pregnant. Married people have less sex. When I was really young, I thought a vagina was shaped like a perfect cylindrical hole. This was before sex ed, of course. That you're supposed to blow during a blowjob. You will go blind by masturbating. Thanks to my wife for helping me by typing this. In elementary, a kid asked me if I knew what a condom was. I went ahead and described a nicotine patch. I thought sperm were the size of tadpoles. I thought they shot out and filled up the condom like a water balloon and you would be able to see and hear them slithering and wriggling around. Needless to say, I was scared of sexual maturity for a while. I thought penises grew pubic hair on their tip, like a lion's tail. I also thought all doggy-style sex was anal sex. Since I have only one sibling, that meant my parents only did it 2 times. Losing your virginity will make you feel powerful and loved by your peers. Looking back, I realized immaturity and sex are a dangerous mix. I used to think, to produce a baby you just need to hug naked and sleep cozily together. That you just put your dick inside a woman and then the sperm starts flowing continuously. Like pee. Oh, and that you actually have to push the sperm out yourself. Like pee. You learn to do that when you get old enough. And that involuntary ejaculations during night happen only a few times until you learn to ejaculate yourself. I thought you literally could not have sex before marriage. It couldn't happen. The vagina would reject the penis like water and oil. Used to think that you had to have anal to make baby. And #X200B. Also thought the mother pooped out the baby. That y'all just lay there and go wow. No way. There's definitely some cleanup involved. My parents had 6 kids. All of us almost exactly 2 years apart. The logical 10-year-old me deduced that my parents had sex once, on their wedding night, and then the babies just started coming every 2 years. The guy stuck it in there and just kinda stayed there until the baby was made. Didn't know about the whole thrusting thing. I used to think the tip of the penis just lined up with the clit and it like suctioned, I guess. I don't know. I also freaked out and thought something was wrong when my labia started to appear and thought it was because I masturbated too much and I was scared to tell my mom. She most definitely would have explained it to me if I had asked. Then a few years later at my first pap smear I asked the doctor about it and she had to explain to me what it was. When I was in 6th grade I thought busting a nut actually meant my nuts actually exploding. It will fall off if you play with it too much. I thought titty fucking was pushing your dick into a nipple one at a time. Back and forth. There was a joke in primary school that went along the lines of Q, how many animals can you get into a girl's fanny? A. 1 cock. 2 bulls. And as many hairs as you like. This confused me for some time. When I was a wee lad I thought that bumming was 2 men stood back to back, gently but playfully bouncing their naked buttocks off each other. Sex is the greatest thing in the world. It really isn't. It isn't bad either. But it's not the best. Have you ever had a really good cup of coffee? Or really delicious pasta dish? Have you ever done something creative? And had your peers absolutely love it? I don't hate sex. It can be fun. But it's not something I actively seek out. I didn't know a vagina existed. I never had the talk. Basically I thought that girls had nothing there and that to pee, a penis would come out of their butthole. I genuinely thought that until a friend showed me naked girls on the internet. Fully thought if you had sex in vagina it would be a girl and up the bum would be a boy. I thought it took hours upon hours. Turns out that only happens if he's on drugs. That if you removed a rib you could suck your own dick because of rumors regarding Marilyn Manson in the 90s. I was 7, I didn't have a clue what it meant. And had no internet to confirm otherwise. My friend told me when we were 7 that having sex was touching butts with a girl. Accidentally touched butts with a girl in the pool later and thought I had had sex. Took me a few years to figure it out. Sex lasts all night. Like you go into bed and then it is happening until sunrise. I didn't learn about ovulation until shamefully late. I had even been active for years honestly believing a woman can get pregnant any non-period day the same. That the tiny little urethra stretched open during labor for the baby to come out. Had no idea that women had a vagina. I was 6 and also a girl. You can pregnant from oral LOL. This doesn't count as a myth but it's still absolutely hilarious. I genuinely thought that women had balls too. But as opposed to the shaft they have it inverted. This was what I thought from the age of 8 to 11 until I accidentally walked into a shower at the campsite we were at. To see it was in middle of being used by some teenage girl masturbating. My parents were very open about sex and taught me about it when I was 4. Of course at 4 it doesn't all make sense. So I thought women only had one hole to do, everything. I also thought that boys had periods. When I was 7 or so I got a cut in my ass. I needed a shit and accidentally cut my ass wound in the process. When I went to flush I saw the blood and told my dad that I was on my period. He was obviously confused. I thought oral sex was literally oral. As in, talking dirty. I was so shocked to learn the truth. If you sat on a toilet seat with any pee on it, you'd get pregnant. A woman should have an orgasm as well to become pregnant. But in hindsight, it wouldn't have been bad if it were true. That you just put it in and waited. I thought the thrusting was just people being kinky. I thought that it was a painful experience and that it was actually not that simple to make a baby. I thought that couples fuck using belly buttons. Yep, like the suddenly grows a penis when he needs to fuck and fuck her belly. I was like 7 and was watching scary movie. I thought sex made you go crazy. I was a stupid child. I thought eating a lot of food until you got fat got you pregnant. This was reinforced when people said they have a food baby. Edit, I used to go to chubby people and ask if I can hear their tummy. I thought you had to pee in her butt. Edit, I did figure it out eventually. Am dad of 2 kids now. When I was really little, I thought that semen was kinda sprayed in a cloud around a woman. Because that's the way my fish did it. I didn't get the whole but about the female laying the eggs _first_ vs live birth lol. When I was in high school, my teachers told me that as you jerk off, the wasted semen is collected by a demon, who then impregnates herself with it, and then gives birth to baby demons that give you bad luck. Don't ask. Religious people believe weird shit. And so did I. I thought that sex was about getting naked in bed and rolling around in the sheets. I am gonna explain to those replying to me. When I was a kid, my mom handed a book from the government which explained a lot of things. It showed a man and a woman naked, but with their parts covered in pubic hair, a lot of pubic hair. I thought that was disgusting. But one day, I would have to have sex. So I thought, if when I sleep I wake up in a different position. If I got naked and slept with my partner, after rolling around in the bed I would eventually have sex. This way, I wouldn't have to come close to that disgusting pubic hair. All pubic hair is dark, regardless of hair color. And hashtag X200B. And hashtag X200B. Even though I myself am light-haired. I thought gay people had sex by bumping their butts together. Whoever tried harder would determine the gender of the baby. Twins are a result of having sex with a pregnant woman. When I was 14 I thought anal sex was when a guy just fucked your butt crack, like literally just sliding his dick between the cheeks without ever entering any hole, and I was so confused. You won't get pregnant if you have sex while menstruating. My sister thinks having sex is laying naked on top of each other and talking about marriage. That girl gets pregnant when you pee in her. The vagina has a button inside and it is pushed to release the baby making stuff, so anything inserted could be the daddy, I guess. Thanks for watching.